One guy right on under. Hello everybody, how's it going? 30 seconds till this starts. We're gonna watch some Ashes of Creation live stream of whatever they announce and all that stuff. So it's gonna be like a watch along. We'll see how it goes. Never done one really before. So yeah. So I got chat open. If anyone jumps in, by all means join. We're gonna watch the whole thing. Leave it up on my YouTube channel, all that fun stuff. And go from there. Oh, here we go. Make it bigger. I'm excited. I do like their intro too.
Hello everyone. Salutations and welcome to our glorious Ashes of Creation's October development update. No, I'm just having fun with you guys. Welcome to our October development update. We hope that you've had a wonderful month and that
let me know if you guys can't hear anything. I'll boost the volume.
Obviously, we have a lot of
it's
things
already
to
up
go
all the
over,
way.
so bear with us. We'll try to get it all jam-packed in an hour, but we do have quite a bit So quickly, I will just kind of go around and introduce our lovely people we have here. I'm obviously Margaret Crone. I'm the community and marketing lead for Intrepid Studios. And with me is Stephen Sharif, who's our creative director, as well as Jeff Bard, who is our lead game designer. You've probably seen their lovely faces. You guys look amazing! Jeff, your costume's so cute.
Yeah, Jeff, what are you?
I'm Marshall.
Oh.
Marshall.
I am the same thing I was last year, a time traveler from the future warning of a global pandemic.
I shake my head at you, Stephen. I shake my head at you.
You should have come a little bit earlier.
I was last year in October. That was like multiple months prior to the pandemic.
But nobody listened.
Oh,
Yeah, and they're still not listening.
Jeff, you're a little quiet. If you, I don't know how you got quieter for some reason, but if you can check that. Jeff.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
You were loud before, but I don't know what happened.
Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Does she have a green
Mine too.
skin on her, like paint, or she just tinted her
Noticed that. So quickly, I just want to go over
world
what we're
green
doing,
or
but
her
I had to
camera?
talk about our costumes because.
Wait, so Margaret, you're a witch?
You know, McP can't be here on the stream, and I feel like the witches need to be represented. But
Yes.
I do have another costume. We're gonna do a screenshot of like all of our costumes because we have a Intrepid Life. Like all of us are getting together later. We're doing Jackbox games, and we're gonna be doing a little costume contest. And
Nice.
the community team has a group costume, but it'd be really weird for me to be in that costume without
A
them.
group? Okay.
So are you a particular type of witch? Or like from a specific type of series or movie that you feel best represents witchdom?
Oh no, I'm not.
Are you a good witch?
Are
Or
you
a
a
bad
good
witch?
witch or a bad witch?
Well, I mean, I'll leave that up to everyone else to decide. You know, give me the best. Give me some backstories. Post on the forum. Someone start a thread. Give me some backstories, and I'll pick the best one, and I'll read it out. Maybe next live stream or something.
Interesting.
That'd be fun,
Interesting.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Stephen approved. So I just want to go over what we're going to be talking about today. We
Let's
have quick
get some
updates.
information.
I'll go through all of those. We have a studio update from Stephen, and he'll also be talking about a creative director's letter. If you haven't checked that out, we also emailed y'all it, so y'all should have it. Yeah, if you're new, definitely go check it out on our forums and also our website. We have a design update with a video of some PvP combat. Reminder that everything's early. Environment art update, as well as some character art update to action, and we are going to announce our glorious gourd winners.
Glorious.
We lost to Steven. What
Well,
happened?
there goes Steven. Oh, well, they tried.
Where'd you go, Steven?
Hopefully he joins us. And then we, of course, have our Q&A, our lovely Toast, aka our
Hey, everybody out there. Thanks for joining. See a couple of you out there watching with.
Yeah, he is echoey, but I think it's because Steven...
Something terrible has happened.
There we go. I think he was echoey because he didn't mute himself on the Zoom call. Is that better?
No.
Oh, he...
Oh, well, there goes Steven. I guess he's dead now.
Rip Steven. Just put the F's in chat, you guys. We know.
What does he chat?
What happened?
I am.
Yeah, there's a lot of F's flying through.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
Viewer count's going up like crazy.
Was super echoey. I don't know
Oh.
if this is still echoey, but I'm
No,
back.
you're not echoey now, but you were echoey for some reason for a moment
Okay.
there.
Yeah, I think it was the mic I was using, but hopefully this is better. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine.
Doing it live.
It's okay. You know, this is the thing with doing stuff from work from home. We're gonna have everyone has different issues, so we're just dealing with it. But that's it for the run of show. In regards to our quick updates, we have a new dev discussion coming up. We have
Cool.
overgearing, which is kind of like, aka twinking for those of us who are more well versed in the realm of MMOs.
I need to get into these.
So yeah, get excited
Discussions
to talk
more.
a little bit about that. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so stay tuned for that next one. We
I never
also
see
have,
overgearing as a problem, though.
Our next cosmetic set will be swapping over.
Oh.
So that means the woe within the woodlands is going to be removed on November 7th, 2020.
Is that currently in the market?
Pacific.
I'm behind, I
Daylight
guess.
savings time changes are happening November 1st, so get ready for that action. And then I believe beyond that, We have our 24-hour
Oh, there
live
you go.
stream, so you're going to get a little bonus extra live stream that will be on November 7th, 6 a.m. PST, and that will be ending at November 8th at 6 a.m. PST. We have a lot of cool things planned for you all. If you haven't already checked out the milestones, we brought back some of the milestones that y'all really liked.
I haven't checked that out at all.
Hopefully you
It must be on
enjoyed
that
those,
Discord. Let me
and
see
we
if I can
also
pull it
have,
up.
quite a few other surprise things. Steven has said that if we hit the 30,000 mark during the 24-hour live stream, he will shave his beard live on the stream.
Oh.
So
Yes.
that'll be
I'm very conflicted because I want us to hit that as a community for the children, but at the same time, I do not want to shave the beard. So there's a significant
I don't blame him.
You
conflict there.
know what?
I think
though,
I'm going to be
Steven?
making some donations.
People like our pain, as we've noticed from last year. But we will be having people tested for COVID. We're going to be bringing in a group of people together to play. I think about 7 of us, right? 6 or 7 of us who are going to be playing
Yeah,
together.
I'm not sure.
We'll be playing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not
No, I
sure.
was just I don't know how many are in the party.
Okay.
But it'll at least probably be 5 or 6. Yeah.
Okay.
That are in the party. I'll be DMing. Sorry.
Yeah, so Steven will actually be GMing this time instead of McP. And
okay.
we'll have a group of people that will be joining us. We're going to test for COVID. We're going to be safe,
Test
but that group of people will be together. We're going to also have some call-in time, so we'll have some break time so people can eat. Our 16-plus hour Pathfinder crew can actually get some sleep. We actually have a 4-hour break during the evening for them.
Don't take a break. Just go
And in
through.
that 4-hour break, we're doing a Minecraft Varen building, which will be really fun, where you guys in chat are going to pick from a slew of buildings, Varen buildings, which they don't know which buildings they are. I'll vote, and then they're going to see it, and then them around.
There we go.
It's going to be
that.
survival mode, PvP on. They can totally mess with each other, and at the end of the 3 or 4 hours, we will do our judging, and we will see how we'll see what's goodness. We'll be hopping into their different TeamSpeak channels and stuff, and asking them questions and
That's
spying
cool.
on them throughout. It'll be good times. So definitely
Also,
come hang out with us.
Also, something different this year for the D&D
They
campaign.
forget they're on the screen, or is it just me that like?
is, each player will have an opportunity to find cash prizes within the world of Vera for their character based off of what achievements they make in their storyline. And the company will be matching the cash prize that goes to the player towards the donation of the Extra Life event as well.
That's so
Awesome.
cool.
Now,
That's
if
so
they
cool.
die, however, if their character dies, their cash rewards get halved. And they get halved each time they die. So they need to try to stay alive, and players can donate to impact, help, or be a detriment to the player during
Oh,
the
no.
campaign.
Oh, I'm gonna need to add like another section to the overlay then, because I would love to have like a counter of every character's
Oh,
like
yeah.
amounts. Okay,
Yes.
that gives me ideas. I'll have to figure out how that's gonna work, because Ian's gonna have to update that in live time.
Yeah, and
I'll
the
figure it
total
out.
cash prize per player can be up to $1,000 if they don't die,
Oh wow.
and if they manage to achieve all of the
You can
points in
revive
the
us though, you
prize.
guys.
And just so you know, Steven is ruthless. He is a ruthless GM.
He's not paying
Check out
any
the
money.
article. There's also all of the ways that you can affect the game. So you can revive people, you can mess with us, you can make some weird wild magic stuff come up, and all kinds of goodies. So definitely come hang out. It's a good time, and it's for the children. It's on,
For the children.
off our work time. It's a separate, it's on the weekend. Everyone's just kind of volunteering their time for it, and we hope that you all have fun. It's going to be good times. And you'll get to meet some new folks on our team, because a few of them are going to be playing some various games with us. We'll also be doing like Among Us and some more Jackbox games where you guys can, as viewers,
That's
be part
cool.
of it.
I guess I'll be watching that.
Come hang out with us. It's going to be great. Beyond
I don't think I can hang out that long,
I
though.
want to move on to our studio updates.
Okay.
Steven, if you want to talk about that, and then also talk about our creative director's letter, which I will pop up on screen the timeline once you get to that.
Absolutely, yeah. So, as many of you likely have read, we did release the creative director's letter in October, and in that letter we did reveal the testing date schedule for
Oh, yeah, the
Alpha
testing date.
Now, this is the schedule as it is today, but with development, it is entirely possible. I want to make sure we're setting the right expectations. It is entirely possible that as these periods come about, there are things
Here,
that we need
I'll
to
bring this
address,
over.
or there could be delays that occur based on kind of our
Here's the
iterating
testing
through what we're learning from these different
phases
test
and
states.
dates
So
for anyone wondering.
keep that in mind, be cognizant of that. However, as things stand, we do have the first testing with all Alpha 1 participants coming up in December. It'll be a 4-day test, after which there'll be a full wipe of the servers. That will be under NDA. However,
Oh, there it is.
I
Yeah,
will
they're on the
be
ball, too.
obviously streaming. The studio will be releasing video content of those events, so you can kind of see the state of the game during the NDA relevant
Am I on
tests.
vacation those days?
And
I
then
sure hope
following
so.
up on that in February, there'll be an additional 4-day test preparing for the month-long Alpha 1 that will still be under NDA.
Oh, it's a
and then
weekend.
come March,
might be
we
on call.
will have a 1-week test in preparation for the full month test. That will not be under NDA, and we will be inviting our official content creators, of which we will be releasing more information.
Hey, Nicholas, how's it going? What are you trying to donate to? The channel?
For what that content creator program looks like. I know Margaret's been doing some work on that.
You can just do a super chat. Should be enabled.
Program for next year.
I hope.
So we're excited to. Yes, and we're excited to roll that out. Additionally, as you guys have probably been aware, the last couple of live streams, we did go through our hiring period, our hiring phase, and that is predominantly finished. There still obviously are going to be positions that are left up on the intrepidstudios.com website. And that's because we're always looking for talent in certain positions, and certain positions have multiple seats at the studio, so it's important to keep those up as we kind of.
So they're hiring people. That's good.
Our next major hiring phase, which will probably start around
Nicholas,
the end.
That's in this weekend. They're doing a charity event for kids' hospitals and stuff like that. So you got to wait until they're doing their live stream this weekend on Twitch, and then you can see them do their stuff.
Like our social media, like you all have been so.
It's extra life.
Violet Light has been just loving interacting with you all, and me too. I pop in there.
I'll try to find their link really quick. They had it up.
We have so many amazing people leaving wonderful comments.
Yeah, no problem.
Engaging with us on a lot of our funny questions that we offer, and some of them are development oriented. We're definitely we try to sneak those in there.
Oh, here's the.
Outside of the dev
Yeah, let me link this for you in chat.
Yeah, and I want to also say, like, all of the sometimes we go to like respond to somebody and someone else in our community has already like responded to a tweet, responded to a Facebook post, responded to
there you go. So go to that link. That should be what you need.
Very welcoming and helpful, and you don't need to be condescending to anybody. You can just give them the answers, because a lot of people just don't know. They that's their first time hopping in and seeing Ashes of Creation, and for you all to be really welcoming is make me cry.
Yeah,
I'm a proud mom.
I've been a part as a player, part of a lot of MMORPG communities, and one thing that's extremely evident to me, and I think the rest of the Intrepid team, is just how welcoming and positive and friendly the Ashes of Creation community is. I mean, it's important.
I mean, sometimes it's really friendly. Sometimes there's some
that the ecosystem
questionable
in which the
people.
community exists is a positive one and is a friendly and inviting and welcoming one.
But it's pretty good community overall, I gotta say.
Population when it comes to people staying and sticking to the server and the game, that social experience is an important one. And having a good community is really an integral component of that highly social environment that people want to be a part of. So you guys have done an amazing job in kind of satisfying the itch of what a good community can be for a lot of players who either might be new to the MMORPG genre or may have not experienced this community since the heydays of MMOs that they were originally a part of.
Yeah, that's true.
That nostalgic fever.
Some people even said this is going to be their first MMO, which I'm like,
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm like, I remember my first MMO.
That'd be my 50th MMO, but hey, whatever.
The fond memories that I have, and the nostalgia that I have, and I hope that we can bring that to other people. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, just always keep in mind, the more people there are, the more fun this game gets. And it's kind of, that's how we're building it, is more people, the more opportunities for cool things to happen. So
yeah, so that's kind of the studio update, the creative director's letter, the dates that were announced, and by the way, I missed the last date. The last date is the month-long test that's going to be the month-long test that's going to be.
I look forward to that April Alpha 1. That's going to be
obviously,
fun.
just to reiterate once more, Alpha 1, this
Why
is
is Steven
a
exempt
true
to a
development
costume? I
alpha.
work for
This
bosses
is
like
not
this. Do I?
a marketing alpha.
It's the same as
And
do
what
the
that
same.
means is, as
Yeah.
you know, part of the
I don't think he's
process
ever worn
here
an
at
outfit for
PreAlpha
Halloween. I've been following this
is
since
being open with that
the
development,
beginning.
so you
And
guys can see that progress.
I think everybody else in
And it is in
the office
dual
does
source. People
something
are,
if they
you know,
want
there
to.
are
I
going
don't
to
think
be
they're
a
too strict
spectrum of
about
people
it,
that
but
exists who are very
I don't think I've
involved
seen
with the game
Steven in an
development,
outfit.
and those who are just completely, you know, at an arm's length away in understanding the process. And they may look at, you know, Alpha 1, the people who don't really understand the development process or haven't been a part of it, they may look at it and they may think, oh, you know, this is trash, looks like trash, you know, whatever, this is the end product.
Yeah,
But
he could
at
put
the end of the
something
day,
on,
what's
like,
important for us, and
I
when
don't
we
know, a
look
Santa
at
hat or
concept
something.
product, is for us to include as much as possible the community
I don't know,
in that
something
development
stupid he could do.
process with no NDA, so that you guys give valuable feedback. And as we go through the iterative process in further defining the game and fleshing out that content, we're doing so with the player in mind and their voice in our ear. That is, I think, one of the key distinguishing factors between our development and many developments that you guys may have seen in the past, and products that have shipped in the past or are still shipping today, that don't include that process.
True.
So, you know,
They are
we've
very
kind of hung
open,
our
I'll
hat
give them
on
that.
that being a positive thing, and we're going to continue forward doing so, taking into account the two-sidedness of that sort.
Yeah, you know, what's funny is I just did like a IGDA meetup, and a lot of developers were talking about how, you know, closed doors development is, and, you know, someone even mentioned that Intrepid is a great they used it as an example for how, like, good open development. I was like, I work for them. And the person, I don't think the person realized it, because obviously I was dressed up as like a costume. But it was really, it was a moment where I was like, oh, I'm so proud of everybody. Like, we definitely try our best. And I think, you know, no matter what, we're going to make mistakes. I want to be upfront about that. Like, it's going to happen.
I'll give it to Intrepid. They have been very open since the beginning. Pretty good amount open.
You're learning it with us, so thank you so much for being on the journey with us and being understanding. It goes a long way, and you know, it's not something that everyone's doing. So yeah. Anything else you want to add, Steven?
I remember when
I think that's it.
Star Wars: The Old Republic was in development,
Move on to the design update.
and they showed almost nothing, and that game was just I just don't remember much being shown, especially in development like this.
A little short video, and just to give you guys an idea, you know, as we've been leading up to the December test for Alpha 1, you know, we've been trying to optimize as much as possible a lot of the network traffic that occurs on the server, the processing that happens on you know, different server workers, and obviously one of the largest, you know, most costly aspect of of the gameplay is player movement, and the more players you include in an area, the higher player density. You know, the kind of exponential that replication occurs between knowing the position and updates of players around you that are relevant, and as you add more players, that becomes, you know, very a lot. So the engineering team has been working pretty diligently, at least over the past few weeks, on optimizing as much as possible the way movement in Unreal Engine works, kind of customizing a little bit. You know, what we need for Ashes of Creation for that to encompass a large portion of players. Now, yesterday, you know, the smaller amount of people, I think we only had about 80-ish that were connected in a very dense location, everybody around each other. But that gives us good metrics for us to kind of understand how that's going to scale as it goes up even further. So we wanted to just take a quick little video to kind of show the progress in seeing those amount of players, kind of their movement being fluid and smooth around each other, kind of getting that update a lot better than where it was, you know, 2 months ago, and 2 months prior to that, and 2 months prior to that. You know, it's a process. But what you're going to see is just a little short PvP battle at a castle. You know, obviously, very important to keep in mind, a lot of the effects are still very first pass, and many have not had an opportunity to take second passes on. So you're going to see them being, you know, maybe overly bright, a little oversized, but that kind of stuff is easy to kind of second pass on. So that's why we don't prioritize it, you know, early on. So don't take too much issue with the over effects stuff there.
And animations are still in progress, so there might be some.
We get it. It's alpha. We get it.
Yeah, absolutely. So just wanted.
It's fine. Just show us the battle.
See you after the video.
Oh, there we go.
Hello, everybody.
How many names do I know here? Klein.
Inside the pre-alpha testing for our Alpha 1. As you can see, I'm surrounded by some fellows
Can't see too many.
outside of a castle. They are jumping up and down like crazy. We're just having a good old day of testing. I'm joined by Margaret Crone, our community marketing lead, and Sarah Flanagan, our senior community manager.
Great. Hello.
Anduin, I've seen his name before.
I'm gonna kick your butt.
Yeah, I don't know why
I'm
my team's trying to kill me.
I'm on the defending side.
So just to give you guys a little bit of a refresh, as you guys know, we're working currently towards Alpha 1. A lot of what we've been doing in today's test has been iterating upon some of the player character movement and how that needed to be a little smoothed up, and we've gotten some good progress out of today's testing.
There you go. Boost the sound a little.
Our glorious engineering team, in particular Adam Tippett,
Excuse
has done
me.
a great job on the movement update. So
Less talk, more fighting.
but what you guys can see now is we're in front of a castle, and as you guys know, castles can be owned by guilds, essentially guilds that are capable of winning.
So you see AOC is slowly draining away the original hype squad. I am a hero of the people. 5k back to intrepid isn't sticking to the basics. Can you say finicky? Yeah, that's true. They're not. I don't know. I'm a backer too. What I do. I'm the leader of men. Alpha, whatever.
Under the of that economic region that this castle
I don't know. Like they do things that are kind
so
of
while obviously not all
odd,
the
I
systems
guess.
are in place for Alpha.
I'm hoping it's just because it's early that things are going to be cleared up and they're going to get the MMO feel a little more, like the community aspect with the nodes and stuff. I'm really looking forward to, but the combat seems a little funny right now.
We are going to try to get a foothold.
I really feel like they're trying to port this over to like consoles or something, like a PS5 or Xbox X or whatever it is.
Enemy team, Margaret?
I am on the enemy.
She is.
Oh my.
So I don't know.
My spy.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, there's not many of the original crew left. I think they also hyped it up
They're not setting
too
up in a
much at the
defending
beginning.
position like they should be. Oh, they're all
Playing-
moving now.
And
Are they playing leapfrog?
I was just like,
they should have waited longer to build it up because a lot of people have left
No
and
time. Like
have it's all fizzled out and people have lost interest.
We can get in there, guys. Let's move forward. Let's
I
charge.
test a new world like
Don't shoot
really
Jason Bourne's
early
eyes.
in its alpha, like the first or whatever it was, pre-alpha.
you can try, come at me.
I was not that excited by the game. Now I haven't gone back and played it since, and that's way too many graphics on the screen for effects. I don't know. I don't think New World is going to dent necessarily what Ashes is in player base too much, if anything, really. He died quick. I just think there's too big of a, at least from what I saw in New Worlds in my early testing, they're too different of a game. They're both fantasy, but New Worlds felt way totally different. So unless it's changed a lot since I tested,
Oh, okay, I'm good. I'm impervious.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and follow it. I kind of gave up on that game when I did that one. It's like a week-long test or whatever it was. There we go. All right, get some battles.
Where's my
I
where's
saw
my
you,
attack?
Steven.
They got to turn down the special effects. I don't know how people with lower-end PCs are going to run. There's a horse. If they want to sell combat,
I'm laying down my best covering fire.
they really got to do something with, like, the Necromancer's got to be really badass. Rogue has to have some cool stealth abilities.
Oh, my fellow attackers are here.
What else they have? Tank's a tank. I don't know. They got to.
take down the
The
caravan.
other 5 professions or whatever need to look good, and need to be unique. You can't be like a ranger or whatever. Can't be a tank just using,
DPS the
or
caravan.
a fighter that uses bows instead. I don't know.
I can only heal so
Oh, they're
much.
coming in from the west.
Yeah, I played EverQuest way back in the day. I think it was EverQuest 1. And I think it was, or 2. I don't remember. It's been so long. I was quite younger. I do remember that being crazy, and my PC just like giving up at times.
So nonchalant.
So, but yeah, Ashes has got to follow in line with that.
Back there. Stop them from killing our
You'll never
caravan.
get back in time.
I think we can. We can do it.
It's almost out.
I didn't even pay attention. They're fighting a caravan.
Hey, we got it.
No, not a caravan. Mine now.
Oh, you can loot. You can loot stuff. Try to loot stuff.
Oh, I got murdered.
I mean, I do like the caravan concept in this game a lot, and I think it's going to be real fun. I plan to make my guild a mercenary guild, where we roam around and just take out caravans all day and piss people off. I don't think we're ever going to own a city. We're not a big guild, or own a node like I become mayor or whatever. But I do plan to beat up people and take their money, and be a bully like that.
What fat loot did you get, Steven?
I don't know. I think I got some of your taxes.
What?
I don't know what was
I
in it.
worked
I
so
think it
hard
might have
for
been
that
gold.
money.
I think it might have been gold.
To pay our mayor.
What the hell's going on? There we go.
But anyways,
Don't
guys,
spend it all in one place now.
just wanted to show you some of the very early.
I feel like their fire
combat.
effects there
Obviously, we're going
have
through
gone
a
downhill since
significant
I've seen them in an
overhaul of
earlier
the combat stat
build.
system. In addition, you'll likely see in the non-NDA version of the Alpha 1 some major changes in the general feel and appearance of combat as our designers are continuing to overhaul and iterate on the testing that we're
Run,
doing.
Steven, run!
Really appreciate everybody kind of tuning in and watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, as I said, it's early, but you'll be able to then see, hey, Alex, what are you trying to do here? Unbelievable. Look at this. Look at this unadulterated anger from Alex.
Yeah, I'm watching from above.
Anyways, we'll see you guys back on the stream.
Yeah.
Bye now.
All right. So we're gonna
Hey,
have
Ty.
the game playthrough
Yes, we may be highwaymen.
chat, but I noticed
Oh, I
that
gotta
there was a
move my
lot of
camera.
comments in regards to specifically the particle effects, which we did address before we played the
What
video.
did I
Right.
do?
If you want to talk a little bit about that again,
Yeah,
Steven.
and just to kind of give you guys ideas, right? Like, as I was watching the stream and it's okay. There we go.
There we go.
As we
Yes, Spirit Ty, we will be
and
highwaymen. We're gonna go out. If we
Jim is
can't capture a
very
node,
talented effects artist,
and I become mayor
with the
and or a
effects.
castle leader
But
or
when
like
it
king,
comes to kind
we're
of
gonna go and
polishing
just raid
those
everything.
effects, that includes
Everything, nonstop.
One, some of the effects need significant reductions in
Yes,
their
effects do need
general size.
significant reductions.
And that's
Significant.
because obviously as you enter into kind of raid situations, whether it be raid versus raid or PvE events where you have a lot of players that are kind of using these effects, not only will the effects be customizable on the client side to kind of tune them to a degree, but also our second and third passes from
Yeah,
the effects
mobsters and extortionists, that's the
is
plan.
going to be taking a look at reducing some of the sizes like the black hole effect or the template that's on the ground for the meteor effect. The brightness of particles is also something that gets that will be iterated on. Some of the particles are very bright as well. But the idea here is to
I'll play with this later.
from an effects pass standpoint, you have these list of abilities that exist. Obviously, with all
Okay,
the
Nicholas,
classes
yeah,
that are
I'll
present.
be happy to
And as you're
contact you.
running through to get effects in place for all of them, you're making these first passes on each of these abilities, and that's getting implemented into the game's development. Now, you guys may have heard the term
Lord of
gray
Salt
box
hates paladins.
when referring to games that are in development. If they don't have an asset, they'll use a gray box, right? Or they'll throw something in that's kind of placeholder. Our approach is similar in that regard with effects, right? In the sense that we're not throwing in gray box particles per se, right? We're throwing in a representation of what the particle coloration is going to be, how its interaction is going to look like, but it just hasn't had that second and third pass. So you're going to see that kind of often through different alpha footages that you're going to get in Alpha 1, because our philosophy is let's throw the first pass in there, and then as we kind of get all of those in place for each of the classes, then we'll go back and do second pass. We'll tune them appropriately.
Okay, as long as you tune them. Otherwise, we're going to have ridiculous
I
battles.
think there were some concerns about like colorblindness and epilepsy and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys want to kind of talk about that.
I did think about
But
epilepsy with
obviously I
all
know
those
that'll be, like, further
explosions.
down the line as well, but those are things that you guys are definitely thinking about as you're creating these things, right?
For sure. I mean, little known fact. I don't know how many people know, but I'm actually red and green colorblind, and it is definitely an important aspect
explains a lot.
of, in particular of UI related informational type things. So that includes like the attacker that'll have like a red icon next to them. It's not just going to be color dependent. There'll also be a texture. There will also be an icon like a sword to represent that. For defenders, you'll have a shield and a blue background with a different type of texture on
Sounds
that.
fair.
Same is true for a lot of different user interface points that'll be present that are informational in the game as well.
Cool. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about maybe Castle Siege and PvP stuff, or are you ready to move on to the next topic?
Oh yeah, no, we can absolutely talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
So
I want to hear more.
as
Trust
was
me.
described kind of in the video with regards to the taxation and each week kind of leading up to the ultimate Castle Siege itself, one of the important aspects on a weekend basis that's going to occur between the relationship that the castle has with nodes under its purview in its economic region is going to be moving those NPC generated caravans at a time that the Lord determines of the castle. But it has to be during one of the weekends in the weeks preceding, and if they don't make that choice, it'll be by default.
So I can't do 3 a.m. on a Wednesday?
To the server's core time zone. But those then NPC-driven caravans will make their way to one of the subordinate nodes around the castle, and those nodes, obviously are different than the node system.
All right, we've heard this.
In the Vera proper. These are dedicated specifically to the castles. And as those tax revenues come in, they help to build and support one of those nodes corresponding to which week it is. There's 3 nodes, 3 preceding weeks to the Castle Siege week. And then players who are perhaps enemies of that guild have an opportunity to intercept, destroy, and raid, loot.
That'll be me.
Those caravans.
Beat him up, I'll be there.
So while a lot of those systems aren't currently set up in Alpha 1, we do have the caravan system set up that you can assign yourself as attacker defender. We have some of the castles that are present in Alpha 1 that you can see, and we just kind of wanted to use this kind of demonstration to show you what this might look like at a smaller scale. Yeah, Jeff, I don't know if you have
I have
anything
a
to add.
question for Jeff, actually, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about it. When it comes to classes and PvP, what is kind of like your design theory on like designing for that? Obviously, I know we have a lot of people who are interested in PvP, and
That's like
balance is kind
the
of
backbone
a
of
lot
this game
people's
is
concern with 64
PvP.
classes.
I mean, yeah, it's a big, huge, gigantic thing to work on, right?
Yeah.
But the way that we're approaching it philosophically is not 1v1 combat, right? Like that would be an impossible thing for us to really do, and it's not really a direction we want to go with the game, right?
Fair enough.
We're really focused on sort of mass PvP, right? So not like one-on-one kind of encounters, not really even party versus party encounters, but like these big
Well, if he says that
fights around
makes.
nodes, these big fights around
What
castles.
about
these
the
big
arenas
fights
they
around,
planned? Like 4 versus 4?
Caravans. So
Like,
a lot of it is trying to figure out
They're just
ways
gonna-
and
those are
balancing
gonna be
ways
totally
for
unbalanced?
classes to work together synergistically, so that like your focus as a team is building out the best the comp that synergizes best for what you've got. And we balance it that way. So we balance party on party, we balance party group on group, and sort of the different configurations of those things. So we look at it more as a macro scale balance problem rather than like a micro scale balance problem. So there will certainly be classes, that, especially depending on your builds, because we are a build focused game, that just blow other comps out of the water, and that's okay for us. But what we do
Okay,
want
that's fine.
is for parties to be relatively well balanced, as long as they've been built sort of with the encounter in mind.
Right, and just to expand a little bit on that, we have specific terminology when referring to archetypes and classes. Classes are the combination of your secondary archetype with your primary archetype, right? And a base archetype is one of the 8 base archetypes that we have present: the 4 martials and the 4 arcane, the ranger, fighter, tank, and rogue, and the cleric, bard, mage, and summoner,
I was
right?
forgetting about the bard.
Those are the 8 archetypes. Now, when you look at balancing, as Jeff was saying, we kind of focus more on the group and even larger as a balancing aspect. And what that means is we're adhering to kind of the Holy Trinity principles, and at the same time, that represents kind of a rock, paper, scissors balance between individual archetypes and classes. So it's understood that
Okay.
some classes and or archetypes on a 1v1 basis will be disadvantaged or will have the
That's fine.
advantage. And that we're okay with that because, again, our focus is the larger engagements.
As long as those large
and
engagements
with that being
happen
said,
frequently.
The active skills
That's what I
stem
want.
from your base archetype. So from a design standpoint, even though augments do radically change the way your active skills kind of provide you abilities, there's still a primary focus on the base archetype itself and not the 64 whole classes, so to speak.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a
64
really good point,
classes,
right?
good
Where
luck.
we're not really talking about 64 true classes. We're talking about 8 classes with 64 variants. And again, like how you build those variants kind of depend on where you spend your skill points. You could lean more into your subclass or lean less into your subclass depending on where you're putting your points.
Okay.
So there isn't as much variance between the 64
As long as I can
classes
be a
you
tank
might
tank.
expect, right?
That's
It's
all
not
I
like
want for my main.
there are,
Tank on top of
64
tank.
different versions of, I don't know, like radically different classes. There are 8 classes, 8 archetypes that are all, they have the same chassis, but then they have different augments put on top of that to sort of change the performance of that chassis, to
Right.
make a car analogy.
Or caravan. Sorry.
Or caravan man.
Awesome. And obviously, you all can ask further questions in future updates and stuff like that. So definitely toss us your questions. I know we have a few other questions that are in the mix of things that I will be asking during our Q&A segment. But we're going to move on to our environment.
Yeah, no
segment.
problem, Nicholas.
We have a lot to go through.
I might start trying to do these more often, even if I'm at work. I'll try to stream it remotely. I'll figure it out. I used to do it pretty often, but I stopped when they started uploading them to YouTube themselves. So I'll try to do this. Some people don't like Twitch, so they want to come here and have a chit chat, stuff like that.
And things of that sort, and then we go into kind of like plant life stuff. So if we want to first talk a little bit about the work that's going towards nodes and leveling up process. I know we've been talking about this as we've gone further and further, but obviously there's more work being done every month in this. This is part of a big system that will affect a lot of our systems in game. It's like a core system. So if you don't mind talking a little bit about what's happened between last month to this month in regards to that, and I will go through all of these assets.
Sorry, I missed the first part of the question.
I also missed the first. I was hoping
Oh,
Jeff didn't miss
weird.
the first part of the question.
If you guys want to talk, I'm going to go through the junior buildings and objects, and there's a lot of them. If you guys don't mind talking a little bit about the node
Sunfrog,
process
yep.
and that.
Oh, the node process.
Like
What is...
the work that's gone on between last month and this month. Obviously,
Oh,
it's a
I
core
see him.
system that we
Mr.
have.
Sunfrog all the time.
Yeah.
on
So
Twitter.
essentially,
You guys are distracting them. Stop it, chat.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, moving into Alpha 1, we've started to stand up additional components for how design and environment approach the propagation of nodes within the world. So originally it was a little bit more brute force and manual how the placement of buildings within a node's essential levels, and as it leveled up, it would unmask those buildings. It would show those buildings, so to speak. What we've done now is engineering has provided tools to essentially give the design team this design data table by which they can drive at scale the larger selection of nodes that exist within the world. Jeff, if you want to expand a little bit on that.
Yeah, so as Steve was saying before,
What happened with Mackie? What did I miss?
The
Sorry.
system that you've seen previously has all been sort of like the underlying back-end stuff that manages all of that, but in terms of like the actual presentation of the node, it was all fairly static. So we had kind of the same node stamped across the world, and each node kind of felt the same, right? So now what we're getting and what has kind of been unlocked is the ability to do things more dynamically and more procedurally, so that when a node spawns, there is the opportunity to have different
Should you
layouts,
manually
have
click in this?
different
Because
buildings,
I'm
have
gonna
different sort of architectures.
get dizzy from all these switching.
And
It's
each
cool
node
seeing the
starts to
dwarf
feel like its own place, right? So it's not the same node
furniture
over and over
architecture.
again. Now we've got a node that kind of evolves and changes depending on where it's at and what the environment is and what race has procced it. So we start to get some of that differentiation that we haven't had previously. And so this is what I call like our real node system. Now we can do some really cool things where, you know,
I did not
when
know that
a node
about
levels up,
Mackie.
it maintains
I
this sort of,
gotta look it up and see what happened.
the same feeling, so it feels like it's growing out from its city center, right? And it has this identity that it kind of evolves, and people get to understand it. But then when it gets destroyed and it starts over again and people re-level it, it's completely different the next time. So that's a lot of like where we're playing with right now and trying to figure out sort of the best way for design to approach that problem in terms of populating NPCs and putting quests in, making those quests smart. So that's kind of where we're at that point. We're playing with the real node system, and that's sort of what you'll be starting to see in these alpha previews. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done there, so it will feel more static than what I'm talking about, but the underlying architecture is there, and as we get more and more assets,
you guys are?
Build that out and get that full dynamic feel.
I stay out of the AOC community because at the beginning it got super volatile for a while. It seems to have calmed down, but I don't have the time personally to necessarily dig through all of their crap and sit on the forums and argue like I was 14 again. Because there's guys in their 30s and 40s who are on there arguing like a 14-year-old.
Like this is
So
like
there's a lot I missed, and I would have to go back and double check and just get back in the whole world of it.
Of that concept that you should, exactly, that we
That's
showed
a big
previously
rock.
in the past. I believe this mesh kind of helps to facilitate that over arc that exists where ships can kind of sail through along the ocean. Yeah,
and that's a house
like,
down there
it's
for
a
Scale.
rock. For us, it's like this is the rock.
And those are little NPCs and stuff down there.
Yep, those are little
That's how
NPCs
big
and
it is.
houses.
The scale of how big that thing is. And then obviously we have some more plant life that has been being given some love. I saw you guys commenting on the grass, which is funny because everyone's like, we've had that grass there forever. But y'all really liked it. There's even more amazing plant life coming. If you're a plant mom like me, or plant dad, whatever you
Plant mom,
find yourself as, there's lots. There's more coming. I would like to have my house filled with plants, Steven, so...
Yeah, I mean, one
Make
of
that
the
It's cool looking.
big directives for the environment team, and I know Mia has been amazing in this regard, is each of the biomes really need to have a fairly eclectic selection of plant life, of vegetation, of foliage. These help to...
Wait, that's
create
how big
the
are those?
atmosphere that you
Oh, of
are
course they
really immersed
jumped away too
in.
quick. Look at how big is that their actual person,
this
and that's the
different
tree?
climate zone. And
These are huge bushes.
that's obviously something that we as players enjoy when we get to see a significant diversity of plant life, because it does lend itself to the immersive nature of the world. And the world just looks so beautiful. It makes sense for us to have
I just want
such
to live there.
dynamicism. Yeah, absolutely.
I think people are saying, can you grow your own plants and then put them in your house and stuff like that? I would hope so. I would love to be able to create my own little plants and then put them in my house and pot them. I just want to live my best witch life. I'm just saying.
I hope decorating houses is not like
there's crops you can have on your freehold.
Lotro,
garden section
where it's like, okay, you got a wall block. Let me just put something that only has a wall item. I hope it's like Star Wars Galaxies,
that will progress, and
where you throw something in a house and you can move it any way, turn upside down, spin it. You can make some really cool, fun stuff with that. It was great. I love that
we'll
so
see
much.
if we can get this added. I don't see it as an issue, but I've always kind of liked the idea
Bacon,
that
sorry.
And no, it's not. I don't. It's not too big of a hassle. But
I just want to
essentially
make crazy
having decor
things
items
with
that are relevant,
furniture.
right? We've talked a little
I
bit
would
about
spend
like how you can
hours
have
doing that.
stoves and how you can have ovens and whatnot, and those will augment kind of buffs that you can eat and whatnot. Well, the same is true for potentially house plants as well. If you have a decor item that's a house plant, it should be essentially the same base and logic as what's out in the garden. You can put a seed in there, and perhaps certain seeds will have different meshes that represent different life stages that the plant is at, right? Like a little one, bigger one,
Okay,
and then full-size
Minecraft
adult
does
one or
this.
whatever. And if you do water it appropriately, or do whatever, you can
Jeez,
then
all right.
harvest or
Yeah, fix
yield
my
from
camera.
it, a unique item that can only be coming from that particular decor item. And then decor items are obviously classified according to tier, and what size your home is will grant you different access to certain tiers of decor items, right? So perhaps only a mansion, person who owns a mansion
I don't like
category type home can have a particular potted plant that yields a unique item that's incorporated into the craftability of certain alchemical potions.
I don't
or
like that.
crafted items, whatever.
I
Hey,
don't.
for people saying that plants are useless, do not even come fight me. Water your plants, people. All right, we're gonna move on to character stuff. So for those of you who paid attention to our creative director's letter, you might have seen some of these, but we also have some video footage for you. And I know Stephen also might have shared some of these as well. But if you haven't been, this is a great time to keep up with things on our development update. So look at that hair.
These are
That's okay. That's
obviously
cool.
as we continue to move forward in the character art towards essentially when we get to a place of having the character creator we want to present to the players, and you guys be able to kind of play with that before launch and save different designs that you have.
That's really detailed.
We take feedback from the players, and art is obviously a work in progress, and you can see how, if you look back a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, where the character was, or no, not that, Jeff. If you look back 3 years ago, will you really be scared? But you can see kind of how the character progresses. And this is a great example of just the hairstyle and fidelity that's possible of these particular hairstyles.
Yeah, but I don't want
I don't want
my MMO to be spending ages doing hairstyles.
But just kind of gives you an idea from a fidelity perspective where we're headed.
Make content.
And here you can see male
Get
versions
combat
of
working.
hairstyles as well. Players can obviously select to have.
Then down the line,
their
you
helmets
get the hairstyles
visible
and
or
make
not
people
visible,
happy.
and they can show off, their cool hairdos.
Yeah.
They're cool hairdos.
They're
Do a
cool
couple spins
hairdos.
here. And we got our little.
I mean, that's cool. It looks very Viking-ish.
Oh, nice! I love the dwarven hair. The
I
female
love the
dwarven
shaved
hairstyle.
sides. Like it's a very in style right now.
In style right now? Okay.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And then we're going to be moving on to some armor pieces. But I wanted to give that dwarf a little spin. And then, so these first ones are some leather pieces that are on the Kalar. And then we'll be moving into some Valoon.
Is that the Elvins, I think?
Armor.
I don't remember.
Are these off?
So those are level 1 through 10 Kalar leather, I think. So just to kind of give you guys an example of the in-game armors that are earnable, achievable, craftable, level 1 through 10, you kind of get an idea of where it's, visually where those sets are going to be at from both a silhouette standpoint as well as from a, texture and material standpoint, to give you guys an idea. And then, obviously progression in armors. This would be a Valoon 10 through 20. I believe this is a 10 through 20 leather set as well. So this is a Valoon.
Is everyone that has a level 10?
I'm pretty sure this one's the in-game version. I don't think this is from a
20 is going to have the same outfit? Can't we decorate differently?
But yeah, just kind of give you guys idea of progression. So as players progress from levels 1 through 10, 10 through 20, 30 through 40, right? Each of those tiers are going to kind of, respective to their armor type, are going to progress in silhouette. They're going to progress in in the intricacies that are present from a component standpoint on the armor, and kind of just continue to level up until eventually you get up to, and you guys haven't seen this yet, but when you get up to like 40 to 50 armor or level, or top level armor at level 50, these are going to be pretty significant sets that look pretty badass, or excuse me, pretty bad butt.
Bad.
It's your stream. You can do what you want.
Worse
Bad
somehow.
I know.
You just made it worse.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny. And then the long-awaited next segment that we'll be talking about is our glorious gourd winners. We had such a hard time voting. We sent out the voting to our teams, and
It wasn't a hard.
no.
Well, there was one very clear. I mean, I think there was like 100 pumpkins or something used in it. So that.
Ooh, the person might know then. Well,
whoops.
For this, I'm gonna kind of preface.
I bet someone knows
first
if
and
there's
foremost
100
that obviously we
pumpkins.
had our Glory Scored contest prize. We want to give a big thank you to AMD for giving us a wonderful graphics card that our
I literally just put
our
the
grand
upgraded
winner
version of
will
that
win.
graphics card in my new PC
All
here.
of the other winners will also win a vintage logo hat,
Two of
Ashes of Creation, an Ashes of Creation vintage logo lanyard, a vintage logo mouse pad,
Vintage?
and also Alpha 1 keys. And
Do they
as a
not
little
sell those
bonus,
anymore? I
because
thought
we
they
had
sold
such
all
a
that
hard
stuff
time
still.
voting, we're going to give some
Wait.
honorable mentions Alpha 1 keys too. Now, I know that some of you also probably want to win an Alpha 1 key, and I implore you to join us for our Extra Life live stream.
Oh, wait, I
because
got
we're
it
giving
already.
away
Never
some
mind.
more during that, so stay tuned. But without further ado, I'm going to start
I
announcing.
could sell the key
Starting with
afterwards.
our gorgeous prize. I'm doing this in the order Toast gave me. So our let me see. She wanted me to go with gorgeous first. Oh, I gotta move it up. All right. Gorgeous first, and that is going to go to Mitcoco.
Mitcoco.
With this beautiful dragon.
That's really good.
I think we've seen
amazing.
It's
That's
so
really good.
and like the way that it lights up is just amazing. So really great job.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Are the horns also pumpkin or
Yeah,
no?
yeah,
No.
yeah,
Are they? Are you
yeah.
sure?
I'm serious.
Ow.
This is some
That is truly a
badass
glorious gourd.
carving. So really
Bad
great
butt.
job. This is
Bad
a gorgeous pumpkin. The our Baron friends would be very proud of you. Our next
That's
one
really
is
good.
going to be going to our glorious prize winner for the most original and epic. And that's going
Oh.
to Llama. I don't know, like that's her name, so I'm just saying.
Llama.
I know, I'm just pretty funny. Llama Mama, wow. Look at
That's
that
really good.
intricacy of this carving. It's so
What
beautiful.
pumpkins are
I
these
like the
people
little
getting
map detail.
that holds
the map
up like
itself
this?
is
That can't be real
continent
pumpkin.
masses are carved into it.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
So
Is it
congratulations,
a pumpkin
Llama
inside
Mama.
a pumpkin?
It's pumpkin inception.
Pumpkinception.
Inception.
Pumpkin inception.
Pumpception?
Yeah, that's a heckin' bad butt pumpkin there.
A heckin' bad butt. Okay, man.
It's yeah, they do have the old logo, but it's okay. It's
The
beautiful.
level of talent is nuts.
Hey,
Alright.
we don't call it old, we call it original.
It's vintage,
The
is
vintage?
what I call it.
Or vintage, yeah.
Yeah.
What's
the
their new
next
logo?
one is going to our grand prize.
I'm
winner,
on their
who will be
website.
Going home with an AMD Sapphire Nitro Radeon RX 5700 XT. Ready?
Ready.
This is the one that
Ready.
that they're all like. In fact, at one point, I'm just gonna go back. I gotta keep you guys in suspense. In fact, at one point, people in the comments on our like voting thing were like, "If that one doesn't win, I'm gonna rage quit Intrepid." And Steven's like, "No."
Well, when I saw that,
So he gave in to terrorists. I got it.
This is
This is some serious voting. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. I'm gonna go to it now. Congratulations to I Hate Healers, which I'm also very sad about this name because as a healer, I keep you
That's
well,
huge.
sir or madam. Grand prize winner is going to this ridiculous, amazing masterpiece that won the best overall grand prize.
How is that-
Congratulations.
There's gotta be like a
Also,
rod
because
going
this
through the
is
whole
green
thing,
screened like that,
holding it up.
her like in the world. It was so good.
Oh my god.
Oh, why don't we have that picture in the world?
Because we when we were doing the judging, we allow you to submit one photo, because obviously otherwise you could make multiple photos and then it would be unfair to other people.
Fair.
But, yeah, it's quite amazing. Definitely go check it out on the forums, because I implore you to go check it out in the forums, because it is amazing.
So just so people are aware, by the way, this is the Daystrider Mule mount.
I think we
that
know.
They
I
created
think we
out
know.
of pumpkins, out of, I guess, more appropriately, gourds. And it is a spitting image of the Daystrider Mule. They even have the saddleback stuff on the saddle.
Oh yeah. It's not just a
In
seat.
the back of it as well, which is
So
crazy.
good.
I want to know what the thought process or the creative process behind this was. It was like, oh, I can make a Daystrider out of pumpkins.
You can make anything out of pumpkins
It's
at
like
this
that.
point.
That's perfect.
I love
It
the
is pretty
effort
cool.
of putting together like the green screen to it. Like, it's just so good. So congratulations on winning the grand prize. Not only are you getting all of the vintage goodies and the Alpha 1 key, you are going home with the AMD graphics card. So again, thank you to AMD.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you to AMD, and hopefully that gives you many, many long times of game action. Now, y'all are probably wondering who got the honorable mentions. So we're gonna go through those, and these folks will also be getting an Alpha 1 key. So we couldn't
I should have just entered something.
Love you all too much. So congratulations to all of these folks. I'll go through them. Our first one is going to be Paramox. Look how
That's pretty
amazing
cool.
this is.
Is the
This is my
gifting
little box buddy
thing
that I
online
got.
now? Are you
So
meaning like
it's
the
so
extra
cool
life
seeing
I
them
mentioned
on the
earlier,
pumpkin,
or
too. Little kit box. It's so cute.
because I think that doesn't start
I love
until
leaves on the
Saturday morning, I think.
And like the little lamps are actually glowing and stuff, and the eyes
Yeah,
are
the
glowing.
colors are perfect for it.
It's perfect. It's so good.
No, it starts
One
Saturday. I don't
is
think
going
you can
to
access it yet.
Nuggety?
Let me see.
Nuggety put together the song, like
the
the
site.
notes for the song, had little like people in there who are like the bards. I believe there is supposed to be 8 bards, and even has like instruments in the scene. Like, it's so good.
That is really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, very.
It doesn't look like you can do anything
We just had a hard
until.
time. You guys did so. We
it
had so
starts.
many
Yeah, there was
submissions.
a lot of effort put into a
There were
lot
like
of
So,
300
Saturday,
submissions, and
6
we
a.m.
had such a hard time deciding.
Pacific
so we're like,
Standard
we're gonna
Time.
give some more people alpha keys.
Oh, not this Saturday. The
Next one here
following
is from
Saturday.
Johnny
Excuse
A.
me, I was wrong on that.
This is a beautiful masterpiece.
November
We also allowed
7th.
people to do a digital version because
So-
we wanted to make it, accessible to everybody. Some people can't get a.
Yeah, I'll be there watching. I might live stream part of it and just leave commentary and stuff like that. I think the last 2 years I just
And this is
I
amazing.
did my own extra life, which wasn't. It was
Yeah,
small,
it's very cool.
but I basically streamed them while I played games next to them. So maybe I'll do that again this year for a while. I can't do it for
The
24
maps.
hours
I've
like
been
them.
talking about a map. This is a friendly neighbor.
No way possible.
Wow, the effort that went into this.
That's cool. How
That
did they?
is crazy.
It's madness.
I mean, an actual ball?
So cool.
That is crazy.
Y'all are so talented. I think we're just in shock at how talented our community is. Down the line, I know Toast
That's
and I
cool.
have talked about doing like weapon contest designs, costume contest designs, like once the game is launched and stuff. So like, I can't wait to see what freaking crazy stuff you guys come up with. It's gonna be amazing. The next thing we have is Flaunt.
That's
is-
cool.
I love the back of it was carved, and so the
Yeah.
light, if you look at like the light that's shining on it, is a dragon in the background. Like, so sick, dude.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Great job, Flaunt. And I can tell, to be able to like make those little bits come like and glow through. I've only carved a couple pumpkins, but I'm like, that is not easy. So really great job. Love it. And then our one after that.
I might
is
donate
Alexia
on their live
made
stream for Extra Life. I might
Crazy
do
Turtle.
at least a $10 or no, $20
So
at Doom's
good.
one of the
We got the
characters.
ocean in the
Galaxy
background.
lights coming
Yeah, I
through.
like the little ocean in the background.
The ocean in the background and the galaxy lights inside of the turtle.
Maybe if I'm feeling generous, I'll do
So cool.
donate
This is
50 and
one
give
of
them a
our mounts
natural
again,
one in
if
their
you saw
Pathfinder
our
map.
Aquatic mounts video. If you
Just
haven't,
ruin
check
'em.
out our 4K aquatic mounts video. And thank you, Evoxia. And our last one is going to Wood Ox. Wow.
Well, that's pretty
This
good.
is another digital one.
Oh, it's
but,
digital.
ooh, this is our dragon that we had.
Well, this shouldn't even be entered.
Section
It's
that
like cheating.
Had showed off. Even got the environment. It looks really good.
Yeah, the lava effects are cool. Very nice. Well done.
The little glow, like you can see the reflection in the clouds underneath. Very neat. So congratulations.
All right,
to
let's
you
do some
all.
Q&A. I
believe
need
all
new
winners have been
information.
contacted. Toast can tell me if not. But all of you who are bonus Alpha 1 keys, you're going to be getting reached out to more now, because we wanted to leave it as a little surprise for honorable mentions. But we just had such a hard time picking our winners because you guys are so talented, and there were so many
talented.
submissions. We're like, we can give away extra keys, right, Steven?
Yeah.
So beyond
Just
that,
don't want to give any
let's
keys
get
away
into
at
our
all.
Q&A segment if you guys are ready for it.
I don't blame him. That's how he
No,
makes
that was
money,
Always
but
ready for
That was a
QA.
big high with all those pumpkins. I'm gonna play our
Has he got the same
little
headset
video
as
in
I
the
do?
background while we do our Q&A, because I feel like that would be nice if you guys are cool with that. So our first question here is on citizenship, and this is from Lineker and Sunboy. They both had a similar question. Will citizens and or mayors know details such as a list of new citizens in a node, citizens that have left the node, and who participated in elections?
Nicholas.
Are you gonna go mail them all election notices?
No, there will be, for election notices, yes, there are election notices that do get mailed to the account.
No, I meant like the mayor, being like, "Hey, you didn't vote for me. I'm gonna go message you."
Oh, no, you won't be able to see the votes.
Oh, man.
Who voted for you.
I want to see who voted for
But
me
you will
as
see
a mayor
a
or
list
didn't.
of, active
Go break some
citizenships.
legs.
So that'll be through the node town board, essentially, that players can interact with. You can get a list of citizens there. You can even click on the citizen and get some information about that particular citizen, such as guild affiliation, society that they may be a part of, religion that they may follow, whether or not they own a property, what type of property they own within the node. And then the list of citizens themselves. Yes, you'll get that information.
And we'll probably notify people as people join the city. So, somebody signs up to be a citizen, there'll be a notification like, "Hey, welcome so-and-so to
But
the
what if I don't want
Right,
people to
and that'll
join my
probably
city?
be within. That won't necessarily come across the screen per se, but in the chat box, you'll have a dedicated node chat section that is just for citizens of the node, and you'll get the notification likely within that chat box. So and so has joined the nation, so and so has joined the node.
People want to know if they can get vote by mail, voter by mail.
Well,
That's
there's
fun.
a lot of potential fraud. No, I'm just.
It's gonna be that kind of stream.
I know.
Oh, Steven. I knew that was coming as soon as I asked it, but I wasn't
Tired.
too much.
You better vote for me.
We have fun. Our next
I'm playing the rule with an iron
Unless you have
fist.
something more to add to that.
Just to be clear, that was a joke. I
Yeah,
have
that was a
full,
joke.
Full confidence in our election system in the United States. So the question is,
You gotta backtrack quick.
The citizen one.
Yeah.
They'll have more information, like detailed lists on new citizens, who've joined the node, that kind of stuff, who have left the node, and who have participated in elections.
Yes, absolutely.
Just take it over, Discord
Our
ship.
next
Yeah,
question here is
exactly.
from Reasonable Mayhem about sieges. It says, will items offered in
That would be
personal
interesting to have a
shops,
coup.
player stalls, and auction houses
To take
besides
over
raw
a
and processed
node.
goods, or will items such as gear and consumables be at risk from a node siege? So if you have a little personal shop or a player stall up or auction house items up, will those be at risk if a node is sieged?
Good question.
So the way that the stall works differently from the player shop, right? And there's two ideas here. The stall is a rentable space that does not require the player to be present in order to have the items actively available for purchase by other players. They just rent the stall, and NPC there services the stall with what you've decided to link as either a service or an item to sell.
Okay.
And that exists for a period of time, and you pay for that period of time. Then you can leave and you can play. A player shop is where you have a certificate to essentially create a shop with your character, and a
Folks
little
on
billboard
Vanilla
will pop
agree.
up above you as
We'll
you
try
sit
to
down
take
for
over.
that
Let's do
shop
go for alpha.
and kind of advertise a custom message that you want to use, that you want to say, and that has to sell things and or services.
Oh,
that
that'd be
other
funny.
person. So players can then come up to you and they can interact with you, and they can. So you're kind of you reside yourself to that shop. With regards to sieges, in the stall scenario, you can link the stall to your warehouse. So it doesn't just have to be in your inventory for the stall. The stall can actually be linked to items in your warehouse, and those items could include materials.
Okay.
Now, materials are at risk during a castle siege. During a
Node siege.
during a node siege. Thank you. So it is possible, I guess, in that sense, that you could lose a portion of those items. So you don't lose whole items in node sieges. All your warehouse contents aren't vulnerable for node sieges.
Okay.
However, materials are. And materials are either processed processed gatherables or raw gatherables, right? Those are the materials. And the same could be true and said for the player shops. If you get killed while being a shop, you would then have the normal death penalty, which could include a portion of your materials and or gatherables that are on your character.
So
Yeah,
basically,
you answered the secondary part of that.
It's gonna
before,
suck.
in regards to materials.
if your node
Right.
is just
And it's
de-leveled in
important to
siege.
note, by the way, and this is, again, this will be tested, but in a node siege, when the declaration occurs, material goods within the warehouse of the node that has had a declaration made, those are restricted from movement. You can sell them to players through the stall, but you cannot incorporate the warehouse connection with materials into launching a caravan out of the node during the declaration period. So it's
Can I
essentially
just
like
empty
all
my
trade
node
power
manually
comes to a
on
little
my
bit of halt
market?
there, and there's a risk associated with it. So
All right. And then our next question is going to be in
That's
regards to
stupid,
secondary
but I
classes.
get it.
And Felix wants to know, or it's with a PH, so I'm assuming it's Felix or Pelix.
I get if caravans can't
Will
work, but
switching my secondary class be subject to
I
a
don't know.
cooldown period? Like, can they just swap around, or do they have kind of like a time frame that they can't do it in?
We've talked about a number of different ways of doing it. There probably will be a cooldown. There may be a quest associated with it, which would function as a cooldown. We may allow you to have multiple specs that you could swap between with the cooldown. So there's a couple different ways that we've talked about it. We haven't really settled yet. Once we start actually implementing these secondary classes, we'll be able to kind of get a better sense for how it feels. We want them to be flexible, but we don't want them to be so flexible that you can, kind of change your character's character at a moment's notice.
Okay,
It
fair.
probably, at the very least, would require going back to a node to swap it out.
Right.
But it's something we're still playing with conceptually,
Oh, wow.
and then once the rubber hits the road and we start testing it out, then we'll have some better answers for you at that point.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So follow up with us, and obviously as we announce more stuff with the archetypes, because we have some.
Man, I missed like
archetype
half your
archetypes coming
stuff.
out.
Nick.
We'll be progressively adding more to those as we, get further along in our development process. But our next question here is actually more of a personal one for Steven, and this
Bounty
is from
hunters,
Effie,
can I
and they want to know, what race and class are you going to play and why? I already
Oh.
know the class. It's going to be some type of mage.
Unbelievable! You can't say that. You'll wait the
Dealers and
population.
not PvP guilds. It's the purest thing, or the bitch.
Yeah, I haven't chosen. Obviously, I imagine I'll have multiple characters. Obviously, that will be different classes and or races.
There you
I
go.
don't. I typically in what I
Yeah,
played in
PvP guilds are
MMOs,
the best, that's for
play,
sure.
Some caster types usually, or a tank
Bounty
slash
hunters.
healer. So really, I don't know. I'm across the board. I don't really have a particular favorite. I think originally I used to be a sorcerer or a mage, and then I really liked getting into tanks and like being a healer as well. So I'm kind of everything. I like playing everything.
Because I don't want to just focus this on Steven. Jeff,
Yeah.
what is your go-to normally?
So I'm almost always a hybrid class is usually where I end up. I like being able to be that flex role. So I do, as much as I hate admitting it, I do end up being the kind of like bard style kind of class more often than not. And WoW, I played a druid for a long time. I'd be a moonkin. What else did I play?
Challenge to make. That'd be, yeah, PvP Law and Order Guild. That'd be interesting.
not on
Oh,
purpose, just because that just ends up being the
He's
most fun.
He's
that
a
I have.
power gaming bard.
I am.
I feel like we actually, the three of us, make a great party because I normally always am a tank or healer. I like to make sure that, you know, everyone stays alive, that we're pulling the right mobs, or, you know, like those are. I have a bit of a control problem. I know.
A control problem.
It's because
Just like
I don't know, that's good to
I
say
don't
you
want anyone
got.
to die. I don't want anything bad to happen. I don't. I feel like you can fill DPS, but when it comes to like tanking and healing, there's some level of skill there that, to me, if you don't have the right person in those jobs, everything can fall apart. Like if you have a bad tank, they're taking a ton of damage, they're pulling things improperly, you're not going to have a good time. If you have a bad healer, people are dying left and right. So I feel like, to me, those are two really, really strong classes that can turn the tide of a combat.
And just to be clear for the audience, so they're aware, not only is Jeff's last name Bard, but he went to Bard College and he plays a Bard. So he's a trifecta. Of
He's a
bards.
bard.
It's true.
He can also sing.
And he can sing. That's right. And perform. He can perform as
Yeah.
well. So
We do have some plans for like
Feel like
live
I'm a
events,
typecast.
and I had like a town crier idea that would be in the booth, and he was like, I want to do that. I was like, okay, Jeff, you're in. Just to tell you, a little sneak peek of some cool stuff that we have planned for on the marketing side. Our next question here is about guild progression from Kadak, and they want to know, well, if we ever get to do events again, want to know, will a guild be able to relocate / respec their skill points? Like if they reduce their members and want to specialize in a more passive skill / augment instead, can they do that?
So, guild skill point allocation, my initial position on that is it cannot be reallocated. However, that is subject to testing. And the reason for that is there's specific benefits that come along with your allocation choice, and it would be a
Hey, I've been reading your Nicholas. I was reading your bounty hunter page for your guild. That's a good plan. I like what you got set up.
Need in the moment that's required. So to speak, like how you allocate skills can determine.
And you're North American. Hey, we could partner up.
If you can.
Your bounty hunter guild, my guild BMF, we could work together
for specific circumstances, like a
I think it'd be
siege
fun.
or a guild war. You could just kick out a bunch of members, reallocate skills, and become super like definitive force. I don't like that idea. So I'm a horde.
My
It's
initial
design choice there is no. But we're going to test obviously and see. But I don't see that changing really.
So once you spec your guild, you won't be able to change it.
Correct.
Ooh.
Yes. Now you can create another guild. And that other guild can take a different direction.
I don't know about that.
And that would be, in my opinion, fair. But I do not believe that the guild, because of how guild skills and skill allocation affects the guild size, I don't think that those should be able to be reallocated.
Why?
And obviously, we're gonna, test things and things.
Yeah, I
that
don't
sort,
like
so
that.
Everything's subject to change.
I don't like that.
But we will be showing off some guild system stuff in the future, so stay tuned for those things. I know we have an article that's going to go over some of the guild abilities that are coming out as well. So, yay! The next thing we have is from Neurotoxin about hair, which we kind of showed off a little bit of hair.
I don't
before
care about
earlier
hair.
on.
Who cares about hair?
How will hair and beards interact with equipment and attire in terms of hiding / remaining present while wearing headgear? Ooh, that's a good question, because sometimes like hair just disappears, or it there's a lot of interpenetration of hair in places because of the weirdness of it.
Yeah,
It's usually weighing problems.
It depends. So I would imagine, and I have to chat a little bit more with the character team on this, but I believe that helmets will be flagged as either removing facial hair or not, depending on the way that the mesh itself is constructed to either cover the face or not cover the face. But in almost all circumstances, the actual hair piece to the model we can't have that interpenetrating, through the helmet, so that will be masked by the helmet being equipped. Now, players can choose not to have the helmet shown and have their their hair present. But yeah, I would say in almost all circumstances, the hair itself with a helmet is likely not going to be present in that regard.
All right. And then our next question here is from Anduin, talking about dyes, and they want to know, will armor and cosmetic items have multiple slots for multiple dyes or just one? So, for instance, like if there's an outline on the outfit, can I change just the outline color and then dye the insides parts like a different color, or is it going to be like I add a dye and it dyes the whole entire thing?
I don't know. Tell us.
So if you add a dye, it's going to dye the relevant components of the set. So, for example, if you have a full set of armor on you and it's a one-piece cosmetic, and you apply a dye to it, there are going to be sections of the armor set that are flagged for accepting the dye color. So it's going to change the accents along the piece, perhaps more predominant single pieces or areas. But you will not be able to isolate, specifically, I just want this line to be that color and this line to be this color and create a rainbow set, so to speak. You're going to apply one dye to one piece. Now, you don't always have to have a single costume piece, right? You could have transmogs on individual items, and you could apply dyes to the different items if they're individual pieces. So that's something to be said.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we have our next question, which is about hitboxes from Mazriel and Nappy, or Mazriel. Let me know how I'm saying it. Hitboxes, which is, will hitboxes be standardized for all races regardless of their size, or will it change? And I think we have discussed this a little bit. I don't know if we've put a standpoint on what our final decisions are. And obviously I know you guys are going to be testing things throughout. But what is your current stance on that?
So that's something we're going to be testing.
I hope so.
Obviously, there's a variance between the hitbox of a dwarf and an orc, and that's an extreme variance there. As we kind of approach it, we have some ideas on how to accommodate different sizes of hitboxes, not just from a stat perspective.
Otherwise, everyone's going to be a dwarf.
Also from
a dwarf that's PvP.
Essentially a distance and projectile size as they approach a target, per se. Now, we don't have separate types of hitbox categories. For example, there's no head hitbox in the MMORPG like there was in APOC. So from a critical standpoint, you're not going to see a greater risk of critting for a larger hitbox. But the opportunity to hit a target, that's, I don't know, Jeff, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing that we have to be careful with, and we are aware of sort of the swampiness that can end up if you don't do this right, especially when we're trying to kind of lean more into the action side of things. We don't want Vec to be the number one choice because they're the hardest to hit, right? But we also need to account for things like, when you collide with stuff and where it makes sense to be able to, where you can access in the world, right? Can Vec get into places with a smaller hitboxes that all other creatures can't? We probably don't want that. So more than likely we'll have some sort of unified or unified-ish hitbox, but again, it's going to kind of, we'll probably have a unified hitbox with some exceptions or some special sort of collision rules based on them, as opposed to kind of just making it smaller for one and not the other. But yeah, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done there,
right.
And then to kind of figure out how we're going to address it, sort of from a technological standpoint.
I mean, from a dwarven standpoint, what the
Makes
dwarf
sense.
lacks in height, it makes up in beard size. So you can just have a very massive beard hitbox for the dwarf.
That's true.
Is it going to be
And
a
then
wide
it's comparable a
hitbox?
little bit to the orc, you know what I mean? I'm just kidding.
But the poor Vec don't have any.
That's true. It is unfortunate.
Right. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight into it. I know we have talked about that subject in the past a little bit, but
Yeah,
maybe not.
it's a thing that we're aware of, and we've talked a lot about it in the office. And there's problems with every implementation of it, right? And so the goal is to try to find the least worst implementation of it,
Least worst.
and then make sure that it's both fair and makes sense from a world's perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Our next question is from Nick Trina. We have one more after this.
Oh, okay.
And
Almost
Nick Trina's
there.
question is regarding the Underrealm.
Oh.
Will the Underrealm be contiguous or consistent?
Contiguous.
Contiguous, there we go. Or consistent of pocketed areas. Ooh.
Both. So the continuity of the Underrealm area is going to be based off location. So you're going to have pockets that are far more contiguous across certain regions than other areas. And generally, the Underrealm and its location throughout the world is going to be focused around natural geographic choke points, essentially, that exist on the above ground locations. So these kind of provide alternate methods of routing for caravan movement, for player movement, for raid movement, whatever, that people can take advantage of. Is it contiguous across the entire subterranean area that exists within Vera? No. There's going to be similar to above ground. There's going to be areas that are obstructed by either large chasms or whatever. Similar to above ground, how there are mountain ranges or water or whatever.
So you're saying
there's areas there that are
Tonar areas are going to be secret passes around the world
to specific.
I like it.
Yeah, and something we've talked about too, and I don't know, we haven't talked about it in a little while, but we've also talked about nodes and node states affecting sort of what openings are open and what things are closed. So not all entrances to the Underrealm will be open at the same time. So that configuration can shift, and different routes will open up and be more advantageous than other routes.
I like that.
Things along those lines.
I just want to use it as a secret
dynamic as well.
passageway to do
some
PvP
challenges
attacks
there.
on people without seeing my guild move.
Where we go with that.
Awesome. And our final question here is from
Or be a nut and
Simex,
run a
who wants to know
Tonar node
about
underground.
combat pets. If I'm a more DPS-oriented character, can my combat pet support me with more tank-oriented or heal-oriented abilities, or does it always match my primary focus?
So combat pets are categorized by class as well and adhere to a simple trinity structure also. So as players kind of determine what combat pet they want to aim for, and I'm assuming you're talking about the universal combat pets and not summoner-based summons, essentially, right? So you can choose to have a more tank-related pet that has tank-oriented skills, or you can choose to have a more DPS-related combat pet or a support type.
So are you saying
I
can be a tank?
Those will also exist.
With
They'll
a tank
have
pet?
different categories of rarity as well. Some that are more, hard to achieve, but have better capabilities and skills. Oh,
Sorry,
I lost.
My cat was freaking out.
No cats.
All right.
Is that a cat or is it Professor McGonagall?
That's my combat pet.
Okay, very cool.
Speaking of pets, cool. So before we go into,
I want to hear more about pets now. I loved in Galaxies.
Steven had a little surprise for me, so sorry that this asset is not the
What?
perfect, the perfect pretty asset.
I loved in Galaxies
Bear with
having
me on
a
that
Beastmaster
front.
profession and having that class. I loved it. It was
What is
unbelievable.
this? What are all these games, Steven?
All right,
Dune.
so I just wanted to, before we kind of wrap up here today, once again talk about the Extra Life that's going to be coming up on Saturday.
That's a lot of
November
figures
7th.
in the
That's a
background.
week from tomorrow. A good friend of mine, Cliff Robbins, he owns the Game Empire stores in Southern California, one of which here is in San Diego. He's also a consultant for a future board game that we have planned with
that's
Ashes
right.
of Creation. And
When is that coming out?
He is going to be donating to the charity event 12 games that you can see here that people will have an opportunity to win on the stream. So what we're going to do is kind of every 2-hour period, we're going to take a look at who the top...
It's 4 hours.
Or is it every 4 hours?
Yeah, it's during those milestone breaks.
Oh,
I think it
okay.
equates to
maybe
4.
Maybe we can make it every 2. I don't know.
I had it every 4, so I had 2. You win. 2 people would win during each of the breaks.
Okay, that's fine.
And then the
we
final
can
one
do
would
that.
be 3, I think, or something
Sure.
like that.
Okay.
Or 4.
So we'll do the top 2.
Guess I gotta be around for
every
some of
4
these.
hours.
I'll take
You'll
Dune.
get one of these games.
The other ones I
It'll
don't.
be first
I'm
come,
not
first
familiar
served.
with.
You can choose one of these games in addition to the Alpha Key And is there other stuff that comes with that as well?
Yes, you had. We're calling it like I think it's like the Intrepid Extra Life 2 or Extra Life 2020 bundle. It will also come with the vintage lanyard, the vintage hat, and
Vintage.
Vintage.
Just because you guys stopped selling them
Yeah, so
doesn't mean they're
those get
vintage
shipped off to you guys
necessarily.
And this is through these particular board games are by donation from Cliff at Game Empire. If you guys are ever in the San Diego area, it's a great game store. You can run by there. A lot of fun.
You'll end up
They're
buying
stretching the stream out.
Yeah, but just to give you guys more incentives to show up, and you guys don't you don't have to donate if you want to come. Just be a part of the fun and hang out with us. We're going to be streaming for 24 straight hours. It's going to be crazy.
They've
but,
lost
we've done
a
it the last
ton
few
of
years. It's
viewers
been a lot of fun to hang out with
since
you
I looked
guys.
last. I think they were pushing 5,000 when I looked last.
Yeah, and I'll just put that up on the screen again. That is November 7th.
But everybody should join
6
for
a.m.
this.
PST, because we're going to be in PST
Extra
now.
Life.
And Sunday,
Even if it's not with me.
8th,
Join and just watch them play.
PST,
Last year they...
things up.
Last 2 years I
Again,
think they did it.
we
It
are
was pretty fun. I think they actually did it
supporting
3
Children's
years.
Hospital. It goes a long way. We actually are in contact with them, and so we might be trying to do some other stuff with them as well. So stay tuned for that. You can watch it all on twitch.tv/Ashes of Creation. If you're watching us live right now, definitely give us a follow so you don't miss out on that. And then, of course, if you are watching us on YouTube, come on over to the Twitch channel. It's fun. Hanging out and chatting with us live. We do look at the chat while we're playing. It's good times. And then, of
I'll
course,
be
you can
there.
go ahead and donate. We made a little bit.ly link as well, which is AOC Extra Life 2020. And that you do have to follow the capitalizations up there. It's
That's annoying.
the first words are always capitalized. So that is where you can find all the details. We also have it up on our website. If you go to ashesofcreation.com/news, all of the details are there and ready for you to check out. Beyond that, we do have a new dev discussion coming up, so please partake in those.
Make sure you check it out.
They help us a ton.
We know.
Jeff gets all of those reports, and his team kind of goes over it and works in any changes that they need to do. We do have our monthly cosmetic swap over, so if you're interested in checking out the new set, I did give some teasers to those of you who are hanging out in our Discord.
Oh, really?
There are some benefits for hanging out with us. But our
You
next
did?
set will be swapping over November 7th, 2020 at 11 a.m. PDT Pacific. I might have the date wrong on that. No, I have it right. I think November 4th. I think I actually do have the time wrong. Sorry about that. It's November 4th. It is the Wednesday. Beyond that, we have the extra slide stuff that we just talked about. I just want to say, over the years, this is our
I don't
first
see
year doing
anything.
it. We've raised over
Oh, I'll have to
$56,000,
double check.
and it has been amazing. And you guys always
And
blow
that
it out
is-
of the water.
Yeah, that is entirely our amazing community. You guys are responsible, and I did have a chat with the director of their philanthropic stuff at Rady's, and they're going to record a little message for our community because in Extra Life, you kind of choose a hospital that you're the 100% of your donation goes to that hospital.
They're really
And
pushing this.
Intrepid Studios and our amazing community over the past 3 years has risen now to be, the top Extra Life participant for Rady's.
Oh.
And, they do great work there. And we just wanted to make sure that you guys have an understanding of
News to
really
me.
where your support goes to be a friend of someone at Rady's and what it means to them. So expect to see that on game day come November 7th.
Get ready for your field
You're
training.
changing lives.
I know you guys are absolutely. changing
Everyone's
lives.
gonna cry.
And, I've always been a long time.
There's gonna be a
believer
gimpy kid
that
or
There's
something.
room for compassion and for these types of endeavors to exist in all of our lives as we kind of move through this existence. Whatever your metaphysical answers are for why we're here. It's one thing
getting
to be
deep
said
now.
that compassion and empathy go a very long way in other people's lives. And it's really, really warming to see the involvement.
Oh, did I lose it?
We are as a community, and it means a lot to us. And
And we're back. Well, that was odd.
Yeah. We can't thank you enough, and Hopefully you enjoy the fun events and shenanigans that we'll be up to throughout the 24 hours. We have a lot of stuff planned. And, you know, Steven's got an epic campaign. You'll get some sneak peeks at some lore. We have a whole bunch of other things that we'll unlock along the way. Some fun challenges that you guys can make fun of us with. We'll definitely
That's what I
bring
wanted to
back
make
the
fun
dinosaur
of people.
lightsaber battle that Steven is the, what do you call it? When you're like, you're
What?
judging the battle.
Oh,
The referee. There we go.
referee.
Yeah,
There you
The
go.
referee judging
You
the
should get a
battle.
referee shirt. But again, thank you, Stephen, for your time. Thank you, Jeff, for your time. I know that this is your time is very valuable. We appreciate it. Now get back to work. No, just kidding.
Well,
Just kidding. If you are just tuning in and you want to check this out, or if you want to,
If you're tuning in right now, you missed a long stream.
YouTube.com/Ashes
Hour
of
and a half, I
Creation.
think?
We try to get that up as quickly as we can. I usually timestamp everything, so I got you, fam. Beyond that, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and we keep.
Usually when they do the extra lives, they also give a lot of
some fun interaction,
background horror
sneak peeks at
info
some
too.
other,
Pretty
assets and
good,
things
like
that we
interesting
share
stuff
out
too
throughout
that
the month.
people
If you want to
probably would be into.
and we have a lot of fun. So you know, sometimes we put out Kim Kardashian memes. It's great. It's good.
Yeah,
times.
Discord's weird.
We'll see
But-
you next month for more wonderful development updates and maybe some sneak peeks at some other things as we move forward. So, toodaloo, everybody.
If you say so. Well, there we go. Gotta go, Sweet, to hit me up with the actual lowdown. X wants me to bring my spawn to her. Of course she does. Oh man, my chat's going nuts here at the end. Oh man. Alright, bud, I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good one. And for everybody else, I appreciate you all watching, hanging out for a little bit. And all that fun stuff. There we go. Now I can see my rosy cheeks for some reason. Everybody, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it a ton. Coming out and watching it with me. I saw there's a handful of people stuck around the whole time. I really like that. If you like what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I do have membership tiers for different things. I'm trying to work it out. Maybe if you have a suggestion on what would be a good tier to add or have or delete, whatever, let me know. Like it, subscribe, share it with friends. I'm going to be making a bunch more Ashes content as time goes on, just because, well, I really like this game, so that's what I'm going to be doing. And that's about it, guys. Nicholas, thanks for stopping by and chit-chatting. I'll have to look up your guild some more and maybe join your Discord and stuff like that, and I'll catch you guys later. So I'm off for now. Maybe I'll stream later and all that fun stuff. So that's it. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.